Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and man, this Ellen DeGeneres story isn't going anywhere. And it's crazy. It's fascinating how fast this is all happening. In fact, it's so fast, it's making me wonder what's actually happening behind the scenes. I want to thank all of you who've been watching my previous coverage. If you're not up to date, you can go click up here and watch the previous story about Ellen. But since so many of you did, and because I find this story fascinating, I wanted to do another follow-up. Last night, it was trending on social media, hashtag Replace Ellen. And now some of the trades and media stories out there are trying to already say that not only there are a lot of people already trying to replace her to take over the show, but some of her friends are too. Now, I don't know how true this is. I want to break all this down, but there's a lot of reports that James Corden has already been in the running, but now they're saying that's not true. But let's break all this down. The biggest thing still is the fact that we're now another whole day later and still no Hollywood celebrities have come out to support Ellen. The only one who has been her wife, surprisingly, Portia Del Rosi, which you'd expect, and it's good to see her do, obviously. To all our fans, we see you. Thanks for your support. Then this is strange. Hashtag stop the bot attacks. Don't know what she's talking about. Stop the bot attacks, the BOT attacks. Bot, like robot? Am I missing something? Please tell me down in the comments if you can crack what that means. I've been trying to figure it out. I can. But she obviously stands with Ellen DeGeneres, stands with Ellen. I stand by Ellen DeGeneres. She did it 3 times. Ellen DeGeneres, Ellen Show. Be kind to each other. But look, this is just, obviously I expect her to do that, and good for her to stand by Ellen. But no one else out there is. In fact, it's been the opposite on Twitter. They've been all over it, making suggestions, mostly a lot of jokes, but still a lot of people not only making suggestions of who should, jokes, but not only making suggestions of who should and giving real suggestions, but also like reminding people of previous examples of how mean Ellen was. There was a thread that went back a while ago from this Kevin T. Porter, and I remember reading it then that went viral, talking about how, she's notoriously one of the meanest people alive. Share your most insane stories, and I'll match everyone with $2. And he got a lot of mean stories. So quick that he already counted up 300 to give $600 to the food bank. But there was a lot of people doing that, and then of course he jumped back in. And so the point being, people are very quick and overly joyed to replace her. She's not as popular as I sort of realized, including you guys watching in the comments. When I went through the comments, and I will go through some of the comments again at the end of the video, man, you guys are not fans of Ellen DeGeneres. Well, look, I don't have any beef with her. She's, she is what it is. It's a show that's sort of supposed to, have positive energy, do some good in the world. And the reality is, did I think she might be mean? Or more importantly, do I think she's out of touch? Like that she's so famous that she just doesn't know like what everyday people do anymore? Yeah, I believe that. But I remember like a Comedians in Car with Coffee episode with Jerry Seinfeld, and even that, like, she just felt a little mean. Granted, Jerry sometimes does too, but you can tell he's a good person. He really does stand by his friends. Like I remember when Michael Richards got called out for that terrible thing he did, Jerry was very quick to bring him on Letterman and have his back and try and help him. Because I at least bought it through Jerry, because Jerry was conveying how sorry he felt. It's just shocking to me that no one has come forward to defend her like she's defended so many. And a lot of people have been speculating that it was her appearance with George W. Bush at that football game that where it really started. Could there be some conspiracy theory here? Look, I don't usually like to tread into those, but the timing is odd. When that happened, it was sort of the first notch against, Ellen, get out of here. So could some liberal friends have turned against her and decided, you know what, enough defending her, let's get her out of here? I've seen some of your comments suggesting it. I don't always believe in these, but clearly, who knows? Because look, the fastness of this still blows me away. This is crazy how this has all come out of nowhere, and how people are responding to it. So let's get to what we know so far. So far, the only person to stand by her is Portia, right? But right here, we have this new article saying that her staff is now calling her Talk Show Karen. It's just mean. And they're also saying that James Corden, who has been sort of rumored, is not going to be replacing her. But Kristen Bell, Melissa McCarthy, Jennifer Aniston are all in the running to take over. Now, granted, this is from the Daily Mail, I know, but I've seen this now picked up through multiples. Let's see what they're sort of pitching here. One former and 10 former employees revealed that there's a toxic work environment, that she's turned this blind eye. We know this. She's scheduled to come to work this month for Ellen's Game of Games, a show my kids and I love because it's sort of just silly and people get hurt, but they sign up to get hurt. She's also supposed to premiere the Ellen show September 9th. TV host James Corden is reportedly being considered to replace Ellen. Apparently that's not true. And sources tell Daily Mail that Sean Hayes, Kristen Bell, Melissa McCarthy, and the ultimate A-lister Jennifer Aniston are in the running. So let's get to some of these reports. So look, do I believe these people are up in the running? What the ultimate betrayal to her, right? But you got to remember, this Ellen gig, it's like the ultimate gig in Hollywood. It's so easy. It's filled with money. It's why a lot of people try to make the talk show happen. I mean, Harry Connick Jr., Kelly Clarkson's doing it right now. But you can go through the amount of celebrities that have attempted to make that thing work, right? Rosie O'Donnell being one. And so Ellen's being compared to Rosie O'Donnell, saying, well, Rosie was a jerk too. And this now Ellen's just proving to be, just like Rosie was, not the person she sells herself as. So while it has those big highs, Oprah, Rosie, Ellen, etc., if you can get in there as the top dog in the talk show space during daytime, it's just an ATM for money. So why wouldn't a celebrity want to do that? Now, granted, they may want to act and do movies and stuff, obviously, but if you're not getting them a lot of movies and you just want to be a mom, have an easier day, get to a point where you can just show up, do your show, prep as much as you want, and then leave, cash in over several years of investing time. That's really what happened to Ellen. She's making so much money now, it's not even funny. So I could see why some people might say, well, no, why would Jennifer Aniston do this? That's why, guys. Don't underestimate that. So anyway, as for that, who would have thought one of America's most loved personalities would morph into America's most famous Karen, production sources say. There's no way anyone on staff wants to do that. But so they're calling her this because talk show Karen, because Karen is the term for an entitled, demanding white woman. So they're sort of doing the ultimate bash there because they're calling her talk show Karen. So all these people are coming out of the woodwork to sort of hate on her, bring this out, and these A-listers apparently in the running to replace her. It just shows once again how people are just ready to let her drown, which, given everything she did, I still am really shocked by this. So anyway, the lesson for post-Ellen world would have someone who is genuinely nice and likable. Apparently, the rumors of Corden aren't true, because if he wanted to do a daytime shock show, CBS would just make one for him because they like him, but he's too busy doing that. But then there's also people saying that he does not have a good reputation either. There's rumors about James Corden being kind of a jerk behind the scenes, and they want someone who's going to have a squeaky clean background if they do in fact replace her. That would make sense to me. Again, I don't know if they should replace her. She should have the chance to step down or oversee sort of a new place, I think. I don't see enough to... I see it's tough. How do you not know? How do you not know? Because the problem is now all these allegations. I stand by always due process and saying, well, we got to have some facts. But she's admitted to it. She's come out and apologized and admitted that she wasn't paying attention. Buck stops with her. It's a reality, right? And if a lot of bad stuff's going on behind the scenes on her show, and she's just sort of like, whatever, sounds like she was checked out, and maybe she should check out and, pursue something else. So I'm torn in this one because I don't like to rush to judgment. I don't know all the facts. At the same time, she admitted it, guys. So while I want to support her and believe in her, she's admitted that, there's bad stuff behind the scenes. But how do you not pay attention? It's your show. If something happens, it's your fault, whether you were paying attention or not, right? I mean, that's where I'm stuck on this. And because Ellen herself is now admitting to these accusations, these no longer are accusations. These are now apparently truth. Why would she have admitted them if they weren't true, right? So that's where I'm hung up on all this. But to wrap up sort of where we're at, it's just like, they're trying to find these people with a squeaky clean image. There's also this idea of, could Kelly Clarkson come in because she already has a show? NBC could try to. So there's a lot of talk right now over, what can happen. But insiders saying, the show in its current form can't work. Ellen's, the production staff, Warner Brothers executives lost faith in the three executive producers at the top and Ellen. This is a PR nightmare that you can't recover from. And, Sean Hayes, who's been on there a bunch, he's hosted in the past, guest hosted, maybe. But I haven't seen him host. But they make a good point. And all three executive producers, including Andy Lassner, who's the one who says no one's getting kicked off the air, have all been accused of bullying and creating this toxic work environment. And there's one thing to all four of them are now radioactive and can't take the show forward for another season. The whole brand proposition of be nice has blown up, and the reality is it's a truth, right? There's a problem there. Like Ellen's got to do some serious cleanup and take some serious accountability. And then maybe to save her own name at this point, because this is the damage control and this is done. And the reality is, even if not all of the accusations were true, it seems like, there were some bad apples there that were doing things. Enough people have come forward. The turnover rate is crazy. I've asked around, like, it's crazy the amount of turnover at that show and the amount of horror stories people have working there. Now, look, every company has, turnover, some turnover, and I know people who worked with me who didn't like me just because we didn't get along. Like it's not everyone can get along, right? Some people hate each other, but the amount here, this isn't a few. This isn't a few people coming up and being frustrated over several years. This is a lot of people coming out of the woodwork and people saying, Brad Garrett, Leah Thompson, all these people coming forward saying this was a known problem. And now celebrities, no one but her wife coming forward? No one else standing by her? This is a tough one to break through. And who are these bots? Hashtag stop bot attacks. What do you guys think on this? Before we wrap up, I want to thank you guys for watching. You guys watch this one as well, so I want to give you some of your comments. People, there's no friends in Hollywood. Hollywood is an evil place. They are all evil soul sellers. Now it's time to collect. She's going to be fine. I'm sure she has rooms in her mansion she hasn't seen yet. Facts. Look, I feel bad for anybody who's canceled. It's not good emotionally, mentally, but Ellen's going to be fine. She's going to have some trouble. It's going to be a bummer for sure, but she could buy an island and live there for the rest of her life and her children's life if she were to have them. So it's hard to feel like terribly bad because she can still sustain her life. A lot of people who are canceled or accused don't have that luxury. They don't have the Ellen money to sort of fall back on. If Ellen is thinking of quitting, then something seriously happened. I agree, James. That's where I'm stuck. This snake is swallowing its own tail. Hollywood is disgusting. I won't even watch movies anymore. Well, that's great. You should watch movies. A whole lot of Hollywood is getting exposed. Could be throwing her under the bus. As I said, it's true that George W. Bush appearance did time a lot of this out. I don't care one way or another whether Ellen is canceled, pulls the plug herself, or stays on the air. She may be a jerk, and it'll all come back to her, or one way or another, but I don't think jumping to cancel is the right approach to 99% of these issues. Agreed, Nick, but it's complicated. It's funny that the person they're supposed to be replacing her with is James Corden. He's got just as many stories of being an a-hole to people, had friends who were around him years ago before he made it big in the States who told me he was like that. Also, he's admitted to his family and colleagues he's had a lot to talk to him about his ego and had to get therapy and never worked. And that never worked because I've seen him act that way and other stories since. I've heard similar stories. I met him once. He was a little drunk, but he was really nice at the Emmys. Just keep swimming again. So look, she just did this to herself. It was just a matter of time. I was never a diehard Ellen fan or anything, but I'd often watch her when she came up in my YouTube feed. That is until I saw the clip of her forcing Mariah Carey to very unwillingly tell the whole world she was pregnant or drink alcohol. I remember that clip. It was weird. You could tell Mariah was super uncomfortable and floored that Ellen was putting her in such a position as a newly pregnant woman who had already had a history of miscarriage. Long story short, Mariah to tell the world she was pregnant on Ellen's show because of Ellen's callous bullying. Have a drink with me if you're not pregnant then. I agree. Thanks for that comment and reminding me. That's the fact, right? She treats a lot of these A-listers great, but anyone else underneath her poorly, I'm assuming. So I don't think they want. I think they do not want to say anything until legit facts are proven to come out. Yeah, I mean, look, thank you guys for these comments. You rock, Andy. You have turned around after they lied about you. Screen Junkies really has taken a turn for the worse since you left. Thank you, Silent Watcher, and thank you to all of you who have been watching. I don't want to make this the Ellen DeGeneres channel, but this is an important story. I'm going to be covering this story along with a lot of others that happen. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already here to Popcorn Planet. Leave a comment down below because if we continue the story, I may bring your comments into the conversation. Thanks so much for watching. As always, again, like I said, subscribe or follow me on social media. Suggest a story you want to hear. I'm going to try and get more into these sort of topics while movies are still out there. You guys click on these more, and I want this channel to succeed. So thank you guys for watching, supporting. We'll be back with more content soon. Bye, everybody.